The average American now carries $104,215 in total debt. But here's what nobody's telling you. That number isn't an accident. It's engineered. $104,000. That's what they've calculated. You can carry without breaking completely. Just enough to keep you working, paying, surviving, but never escaping. Because there's a hidden system behind American debt. A machine designed by a small group of financial architects who discovered something powerful. A person in debt is a person in control. Let me show you exactly what's really happening. Right now, total American household debt sits at $17.9 trillion. The official narrative? People are irresponsible. They spend too much. They need better financial literacy. Here's what nobody tells you. The system requires you to go into debt to survive. Want to get an education? The average cost is $36,436 per year. Want to buy a home? You'll need a 30-year mortgage. Want to start a business? You'll need business loans. Want healthcare? Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy in America. And here's the disturbing part. The interest rates are designed to keep you paying forever without ever eliminating the principal. Credit card companies charge an average of 24.37% APR. That means if you carry that average $104,215 in debt, you're paying over $25,000 per year just in interest, not reducing your debt, just paying for the privilege of staying in debt. Student loans, the average borrower takes 20 years to pay off a degree that was supposed to take 4 years to earn. The interest compounds faster than most people can pay it down. Here's the key. They're not trying to get paid back. They're trying to keep you owing forever. Because a debt payment is a guaranteed revenue stream. And in modern America, you are not a citizen. You are a revenue stream with a social security number. Let me show you how this machine actually works. The credit score trap. They created a 3-digit number that controls your entire life. Want housing? Need a good score. Want a job? Some employers check it. Want insurance? Your score affects your rate. But here's the hidden part. You can't build credit without going into debt. The system punishes you for living debt-free. No debt history? Your score drops. Pay off everything? Your score can actually decrease. Who benefits? The 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, generate $4.6 billion annually selling your financial behavior to lenders. The minimum payment scam. Credit card companies show you a minimum payment that feels manageable, usually 2 to 3% of your balance. Seems reasonable, right? Here's what nobody tells you. If you only pay the minimum on a $5,000 balance at 24% interest, it will take you 17 years to pay off and cost you $6,748 in interest alone. That $5,000 debt becomes $11,748. They more than doubled their money because you trusted the minimum payment they calculated for you. The debt consolidation loop. Can't manage multiple debts? They offer you a consolidation loan. Simplify your payments. Sounds like help, right? Let me show you the trap. You roll multiple debts into one new loan with a longer term. Your monthly payment drops, but you'll pay far more in total interest. Then, with your credit cards now paid off, you have available credit again. Most people reuse it. Now you have the consolidation loan plus new credit card debt. The average person consolidates debt 2.3 times before giving up. Each time, the financial institutions collect origination fees, interest, and keep you deeper in the system. The inflation debt transfer. Your wages barely keep up with inflation, but your debt grows at rates far exceeding inflation. Credit card interest is 24%. Inflation is 3 to 4%. That 20% gap, that's the wealth transfer. Every year, your purchasing power decreases while your debt obligations increase. You're working harder to afford less while owing more. They're extracting the difference. This isn't a theory. This is documented fact. 6 banks control 70% of all banking assets in America. JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley. These institutions spend $2.9 billion annually lobbying Congress. That's $5.4 million per member of Congress per year. They're not lobbying for your benefit. In 1978, the Supreme Court case Marquette National Bank v. First of Omaha Service Corp. Changed everything. It allowed banks to charge interest rates from their home state regardless of where the borrower lived. South Dakota and Delaware immediately eliminated interest rate caps. Every major bank incorporated there. Overnight, credit card rates went from regulated single digits to unlimited. Here's the us versus them reality. The top 1% holds $41.52 trillion in wealth. The bottom 50%, they hold $3.7 trillion in wealth, but carry $5.9 trillion in debt. They don't want you knowing this. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Debt flows upward. Wealth concentrates at the top. You stay in the middle, working, paying, never escaping. This is not theory. This is documented fact. We've seen this before. In the 1800s, company towns controlled workers through company scrip. You worked for the coal mine. They paid you in fake currency, only redeemable at the company store. Prices at the store, controlled by the company. You could work your entire life and never get ahead. The song 16 Tons wasn't fiction. You load 16 tons, what do you get? Another day, older and deeper in debt. The mechanism was exposed. It was outlawed. So they evolved it. Modern debt is digital company scrip. You work for wages. Those wages go to banks through mandatory debt payments. The banks control the prices through interest rates. You can work your entire life and never get ahead. We've seen this before. We're seeing it again. They just made it more sophisticated. Here's how the full machine works. They lobby for policies that make debt mandatory. Skyrocketing education costs, unaffordable housing, privatized healthcare. You can't participate in society without borrowing. They offer you credit with terms designed to maximize their profit, not your escape. High interest rates, minimum payments that never reduce principal compounding penalties. They report your behavior to credit bureaus they control, creating a score that forces you deeper into the system. Want better rates? You need a better score. Want a better score? You need more debt history. When you struggle, they offer solutions, consolidation, refinancing, new credit products. Each solution generates more fees and longer payment terms. They use the guaranteed revenue stream from your debt payments as collateral for investments that generate even more wealth for them. Here's why the system stays intact. Every politician who could change it is funded by the banks. Every regulator who could enforce restrictions previously worked for the banks or will work for the banks after government. The revolving door between Wall Street and Washington isn't corruption. It's the system. They do this, you pay that, they profit everything. And the loop continues. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is documented fact. The data is public. The lobbying records are public. The Supreme Court decisions are public. Smart money is already moving. The wealthy are buying assets, real estate, businesses, investments, while the middle class is buried in debt. The gap is widening every single day. The average American now carries $104,215 in debt. That number is climbing. Here's what's at stake. Your children will inherit this system unless we expose it. They'll be told the same lies. Work hard, go to college, buy a house, build credit, and they'll end up in the same trap, but deeper. The window is closing. Every year, the debt burden increases. Every year, the concentration of wealth accelerates. Every year, escape becomes harder. But here's the hope. Knowledge is power. Once you see the system, you can't unsee it. You can make different choices. You can refuse to play by their rules. Pay off high interest debt aggressively. Avoid the minimum payment trap. Question every financial product they sell you. Build assets instead of liabilities. Teach your kids how money really works, not how the banks say it works. And share this with everyone who needs the truth. Because they've spent billions keeping the system invisible. Every person who sees through it weakens their control. You're not crazy. You're not bad with money. The system is rigged. And now you know exactly how.